Hi everyone, today I'm going to share about what I have been learned from TikToks. By inspiring Justin Bieber called a simple way to break a bad habit. So Justin Bieber is a psychiatrist and neuroscientist who studies habit and addictions. In these talks, he explained that most of us try to break habits by relying on willpower, but often willpower are fixed. So instead of that, he showed us the better way or the easy way. It's using mindfulness and curiosity to break habit as more naturally. So how habit is from? Habits are created through something called a reward-based learning, which is this law has three parts, which is trigger, behavior, and the last one is rewards. The triggering part of this is always repeating in our life. So the first is trigger. What is trigger? Trigger is something happens that start the habits. So the habit is started from trigger. It could be emotional, like stress, rhythm or situations like sitting on the couch after the work. So the second one is behavior. Behavior is the actions you take when the trigger appears. For example, smoking. The third is rewards. Reward is the feeling you get afterwards. Maybe it's temporary pleasure, relaxation, or distraction for stress. So over this time, the brain learns when I feel this trigger, I should do this behavior to get that rewards. Even if the bad habits for us in the long term, but the brain still remember the short terms of reward. So so why power over fear? Why? So most of us told to just stop or have more self control, but why power is like a battery. It's we drain when we are tired, stressed or emotional, and we sometimes we fight a craving, we actually think about it more, which is make it stronger. So instead of resolving the cravings, River suggested we should study it. So we have to study, we have to understand the meaning of mindfulness, or it's not a meaning as a method for us to break the bad habits. So mindfulness is paying attention to present moment without judging ourselves. So when we are curving calm, don't immediately react. Instance, first step, pause almost and notice it. And the second one, ask yourself, what does this feel like in my body right now? So the third one is be curious about it instead of frustrated. The curiosity creates space between the craving and your actions. So you are no longer acting on autopilot. First, I will give one example, which is smoking. In one study, Breaker worked with smoker. So he didn't tell them to quit right away. Instead, he told them to smoke mildly because the smoker doesn't easier to quit smoke right away. So he suggests to them to use the method mindfully. So as they smoke, they pay attention to the taste, the smell, and the feeling in their throat. And many of them realize that smoking actually tastes bad and smell harmful and make them cough. And their brains started to update the reward value of smoking. It become less attractive. As a result, quitting become easier because they generally didn't want it anymore. So Or smoking is started with trigger, behavior, and reward. The trigger is smoker, being a smoker, and the behavior is and the process work because mindful help us see the truth of the habits. Once our brain realizes the habit isn't rewarding as we thought, the craving loses its power. Then we can replace all habits with healthy one, which is like exercise, like drinking water. And the conclusion of our topic is to break a bad habits. Remember this first step, which is notice, get curious, see clearly, and let's go naturally. It's not about fighting ourselves or forcing just with power. It's about using our awareness to make a better choice. As Julian better say, if you pay attention and get curious, you can stay up of all habits and into a new way of being. I think that's all for us. Thank you.